Subscribe now. EU debates.
Testing times, as the President has just said, and we are faced with an energy security situation that is unprecedented, and indeed it is a political creation by President Putin as part of his efforts to weaken us and to divide us. And in response to such a political action, political counteraction is necessary. Russia sees gas as a political weapon, so we need to have, at European level, a political response. It's not easy to predict what Putin's next move will be, but that he will continue to try and divide us and to hurt us is clear. So what we need to do, in any case, is to prepare for even the possibility of full disruption of gas supplies. All scenarios should be taken into account, even that worst scenario. And that's why in the heat of summer, we have to think about winter. We need to save gas now to keep our homes heated and industry running when winter comes. So when we say winter is coming, we just announce that the season is changing. We're not quoting a Game of Thrones. And we can do that. If we do nothing, one thing's sure, we will have shortfalls. And shortfalls will not just affect the countries where the shortfalls happen. They will affect every single member state because they will have serious consequences on our economy. And nobody can escape that consequence. So the choice we have today is triggering solidarity now or waiting for an emergency that will force solidarity upon us when the circumstances then will be much uglier and the response will have to be much more complicated. So if there would be a complete halt of Russian gas supplies, we will most likely fail to put enough gas into storage. And next winter, the winter after next winter, the situation could be even more dire. So we cannot, in good conscience, allow the situation to spiral out of control, because it will, as I said, also cause significant economic damage. But we can reduce potential GDP losses if we apply preventive reductions now instead of taking reactive measures later. If we do that, we can say to European citizens, you will not be in the cold and you will not be out of your job because Europe has shown solidarity. We believe the situation is urgent enough to invoke Article 122. We're calling on member states to make voluntary cuts now. We also need the possibility for mandatory demand reduction if the situation gets worse, and we would then propose to the Council to take a decision to go into that direction. We've opted to set a uniform target because it is the simplest, fastest, fairest, and also most transparent way forward. Every member state will need to take measures relative to their own average consumption. We will work together with industry to identify how to scale back and where. Thierry will certainly have a lot to say about that. And let me just underline this. Households and other protected consumers will remain protected. But they can also contribute by cutting the gas consumption. Many of the possible savings are no-regret measures. Think about it. Do we need to have the lights on in empty office buildings or shop fronts all night? Do we have to have air conditioning set at 20 degrees? Could be higher, couldn't it? Of course, it might reduce a bit of our comfort, but it might also reduce a lot of our consumption. And none of this will be easy, but if we act now, we have a choice about how we do it. We remain masters of our own destiny if we really do this. If we choose now to plan for managed cuts, to develop contingency measures together with industry, and give up a few comforts ourselves, every one of us, we avoid a full-blown crisis next winter. We must use all the tools we have, energy savings, of course, but also the other pillars of Repower EU, and I urge the Council to work hard on making it on translating our proposal into facts. We need to keep diversifying our energy supplies. The EU Energy Platform can support joint purchasing and coordinate distribution of gas across the EU, and the rollout of renewable energy must continue to accelerate. As the IMF has recently studied, the cost of transition to renewables is lower than continuing with fossil fuel. Just imagine that. The cost is lower than continuing with fossil fuel. So transitioning is cheaper than staying where we are. And this, I think, we should keep in mind. If we can put this together, and I think we can, and I think we need to do that, then Putin's attempt to manipulate us will fail. Because he's not attacking individual countries. Sure, he will. But his plan is to attack individual countries to weaken Europe as a whole. So Europe as a whole is under his attack. A strong European response is the only response. Unilateral measures are not the way to go. They create severe distortions in the internal market, they're ineffective, and they can put the energy security of the entire EU at risk. And we don't want to give that gift to Mr. Putin. We have to move forward in solidarity, standing together and using our strength as a union. Thank you.
Thank you very much.